So she's doing something the horse knows how to do well, to give her a rewardable moment. Now that's the same water box that we walked Zeus through and then Kathy drove him through over at the obstacle course. Yeah.
Okay? Somebody who can just sit on there and let that happen. If you're going to have trouble maintaining your balance and staying with that horse,
Yeah, she said you need to have somebody up on your horse that can sit the jump or the buck or whatever they do as they're learning to do all this. But if you're going to have a problem and fall off, you need to have somebody up there that can help that horse.
Exactly, and on your courses, if you're doing a judged event, ask questions of the judge. They may get surly at you for it. I've had them say, that's a dumb question. The only dumb question is the one that you didn't ask. You need to get a tough skin and ask your question, even if you think they're going to make fun of you for asking it. Ask it. A lot of times now with the advent of the extreme cowboy race style trail, you need to know, does that judge want you to trot through the water? Do they want you to trot over the bridge? Do they want you to lope over the bridge? Do they want you to walk? Ask those questions, because the last thing you want to do is shoot your horse up there and have a horse that'll trot through it and you shut him down and you walk through all nice and quiet. If you need to know what they're looking for. Know what they're looking for. Ask your questions. Very few trail obstacle tests don't have a question period before them. So much happens that you need to know. You need to know, do you want this trotted? Do you want it loped? Is there anything different I can do to, what specifically are you looking at? Lorinda, I want to see you use a little bit more inside leg to help this horse around the turns. He's real stiff in his ribs. You guys see when he turns a corner, his body is just going straight like a gate. Just a little work with your inside leg. Take your time. Also, I use breathing techniques. Before each obstacle on the approach, I'll take a deep breath and I'll exhale. And then do the obstacle. It makes you take the time to think, it relaxes your body. You'll find that horses listen to leadership. If leadership relaxes, follower relaxes. And the best way to show that you're relaxed is to release the tension. The horse, every mammal sighs and yawns. Okay, everyone does it when they release stress. When you release tension, you're going to let that go. Your horse will recognize that as a sign of released tension, and they might release theirs when you release yours. There you go. So little bit more speed. You notice when she added the speed in between the obstacles themselves lost some of their quality. That's why you have to practice slow, build speed, practice slow, build speed, practice slow, build speed. And then you also don't want to go too slow. You have to push your horse to that point where things start to fall apart. Because that's how you learn. That's how we learn. It's how they learn. It's how your dog learns to handle stressful environments. If you stress them, you bring them to comfort. You stress them again, you bring them to comfort. You stress them again, and pretty soon the distance between stress and comfort is really small. So they get comfortable. And we did that with this horse from the beginning. Figured out how to stand quietly as long as I'm not asking her to do something. You know, and then now I'm just going to start while we're in this working, and I'm going to ask her a couple little things. I'm going to ask her a couple steps left. And we'll ask for that nose to go down because she's not paying attention to me. I could just tip her sideways. I could do any number of things. Just do something to get the horse to pay attention. Lorinda's made really good corrections. She kept her speedy job, but she learned that if she rated her horse back earlier, she could keep the quality of the obstacle and have the speed. So she stopped, rated, and then off you go again. You'll find, you know, the cowboy racing, people who have reining horses that have sliding stops, you can use those to tremendous advantage in those cowboy races. Not so much real trail, because you've really got no business sliding to a stop in a real trail. If you're working cattle in a real environment, every now and again you're gonna use that. But pretty much, trail trials, they want a smooth transition from fast to slow and back to fast again. They're not looking for something abrupt. A good square halt is probably better than blowing them out with a great big slide. But you need to decide how far away from that obstacle are you going to use that maneuver. Those of us who have that maneuver on our horses, I have two horses that I show at a very high level. One of them, I'll run him straight up to the obstacle. He slides usually between 8 and 16 feet, depending on his speed. I know how long that is. If I'm going to run up to a bridge and slide to a stop, and I know my speed and my footing, he's probably going to slide 12 feet. I'll set him in the ground 13 feet away. Slide, step on the bridge, walk over the bridge, get off, take off again. I have another horse that also has a great slide. He's not as good at the obstacles. I'll ride him up and I'll stop him 30 feet away. I'll run him up, I'll put him in the ground, and then I'll trot up to the obstacle and complete it. So you got to know your horse and feel your horse when you're in there. And this is not just for competition. When you're out on the trail, at the first moment you feel your horse questioning you. You need to be there for him. If you're coming up to a water crossing and that horse needs to stop 40 feet away, you need to let him stop and be okay with it. Now that's not stop and avoid it. It's stop and, okay, you look at it, you see it, you're good, all right, let's go a few more steps. If they need to stop again, let them stop again, and then ask again. You'll build confidence, and pretty soon your horse is galloping through that water. Pretty soon.